It's Bigfoot Collectors Club with Bryce and Michael. I know a ghost story or two. Let's do this.
Oh, your mic's not even on.
Oh, no.
Where happened to your microphone?
His mic's not on, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
did that on purpose.
I promised that he said, yeah.
Yeah. You're trying to mute me, man.
No, dude, I
Trying to censor me from my Bigfoot talk, man.
completely the opposite. Now my mic is way too on. I just put it in my mouth. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Bigfoot Collectors Club, the show where we talk to amazing guests about their personal paranormal history and share stories of high strangeness. I'm your host, Michael McMillan. With me always is your other host,
Bryce Johnson.
and our super producer,
Riley Bray.
And tonight, we are celebrating the victory of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
That's
man,
right.
Congrats.
I just have to...
You did it.
Just
I
get
left
it out
that
there.
cliffhanger from last week. I just want to let everybody out there. I know that you were cheering for me.
You won it for him.
I know you're happy that I won, and that I'm a big winner. So thank you to all of my fans for supporting me through this wonderful time.
Michael, did you actually do any sort of magical rituals in the privacy of your own apartment?
I did not, but I tell you
Okay.
what, I did what I said I was going to do.
Yep, good.
Which is I wore it was clean. I did wash it.
Good.
I wore the same shirt, the same sweatshirt.
Yep.
I went to the same bar, and I didn't leave.
Great.
And a friend of the show, Danny Jollis, was there. I call him Good Luck Danny.
Good luck, Danny.
And we won. It was
Amazing.
great.
It was an
Exciting
amazing game.
It was. Talk about a huge comeback.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Talk about manifesting your will into existence.
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes and everybody else on the team. But
Yep.
man, that guy.
amazing.
Oh, boy. All right, here we go. Today's guest, I want to bring her in because she's staring at me like, what am I supposed to talk? I just keep talking about Kansas City Chiefs for 20 more minutes. They're having a big parade tomorrow. They shut down schools and businesses all over the city. Anyway,
Sure.
I'm happy. 50 years, everybody. She's acted and she's starred in multiple film and TV projects. I can't even list them all, but you might know her from Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce, The Good Doctor, Tron Legacy, or soon to be the upcoming Netflix series, Firefly Lane.
Sweet.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please give a warm Club Scout welcome to Beau Garrett.
Yeah.
Hi, Beau.
Applause all around.
Applause all
Hi.
around.
Hi, you just got back in town, you
I
said.
sure did.
Where were you?
I was shooting up in Vancouver, Canada.
Ooh,
It's nice
Bigfoot
and
country.
toasty. Yeah. Drove back down.
Oh, that's
That's
the
a
best
great drive.
It's a
That
great,
is, yeah.
aside from the snow in the
Oh.
north, it was
Oh, yeah.
it was good though.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I got big tires, so I'm good.
What do you drive? Do you drive
Take a guess.
the legendary
What
monster
would
truck
you guess?
Bigfoot?
It's a Tacoma Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
All
great.
right,
Yeah,
cool.
and
Could
it's
see
a
you
good
in
truck.
that.
Yeah,
Matches your name.
Yeah,
Beau
it's
Garrett. It's so strong, like a
like a 2005 Tacoma.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's what I was going for.
Picturing you with like monster truck tires and just like one of those huge
CB radio.
like racks, headlights up top, just like
Flowmaster in
yeah,
the
just
back.
like just driving over cars
Totally.
on the
Yeah.
PCH.
Yeah.
Did you come down 5 or the 101? Where'd you drive through?
Well, I took like a good 7 days, so I went through.
This is
Oh, wow.
my kind of guest.
Let's go through wine country. Willamette up in Oregon.
So you did it right.
I did it right.
Because
yeah.
that 5 can be, if you do it the fast way, it can.
Yeah,
it's not
there's
as
no
great.
fast way going from Vancouver to LA, but I always kind of go to areas that I've never been, parts of Northern California I've never been, Central California. Just depends. But yeah,
I used to hit that trip in 24 hours straight
Yeah.
on the way to see my my now wife, who was from Vancouver. I would drive up there with my best buddy, and we'd do like little 3-hour shifts. And
She's from Vancouver.
she's from Vancouver,
No
yeah.
way. Whereabouts?
North Van, West Van, and then now her parents live on the island.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, my buddy he like lit a joint. He was like, "Oh, it was that first joint on the road trip," and he passes it to me, and he went to ash it out the window. She was like, "No, what are you doing? Hold on to that thing, bro." But anyway, I remember that.
That's a really poignant memory that sticks with you.
I drove up to Vancouver one time with a buddy, and we bought a bag of weed from. I think I told this story on the podcast. From like the most stereotypical dude to buy a bag of weed from in Mount Shasta, California.
Sounds about right.
At the well, I probably shouldn't say the name of the cafe.
Probably not.
But I mean, now it's all legal. It doesn't
it's all
matter.
good.
But back
fine.
in the day, they were like, go to this cafe, just wait around. You'll know him when he walks in. And we're like, I
You
think
can
we
smell
need to
him
go.
before he arrives.
Yeah, you'll
This
know.
dude who was literally a tie-dyed human being walked in. We're like, this is our guy. But I just remember we were driving towards the border and we are like going into Vancouver and we were like, I mean, we should probably get rid of he gave us so much weed. So my buddy like rolled up a bunch, hid it, but then he just smoked as much as possible.
Yeah, you don't want to be going over the border.
And I
with that.
remember like, so we're at...
Ooh, high through immigration.
Yeah,
This
that's not
sounds
a
like
good
my
plan.
We're
nightmare.
going through immigration. And she's like, passports, I got it, I'm handing out, and I'm fine. And I just know that he's probably super stoned because he just like smoked like so much at this rest stop 10 miles south of there. And
when the rebel yells.
I go,
Seriously.
she goes, how long are you in Vancouver for? And I was like, well, I'm filming up here. I came down to just for a break and I'm on my way back up. And then she goes, and what about you, sir? How long are you in Vancouver for?
Silence.
And no answer. I'm like, I look over and my buddy's entire face is just a shade of purple that I've never seen. His
man.
mouth is agape.
It's melted.
And he's like, huh? She goes, how long are you in Vancouver for, sir? And he goes, I'm not in Vancouver yet. I'm not
man.
in Canada. What do you mean?
My God.
It's like, wasn't that on like Super Troopers? Wasn't that like,
God.
I was just like, Jesus Christ, dude. We're going to get arrested.
oh God.
We were fine.
Yeah.
If we were coming the other way, it probably
Yeah.
would have been a problem.
Going into Canada, you're fine.
She was just like, get out of here.
That's why you get a Nexus pass. They don't question you.
Oh, good
That's
idea.
my jam now.
Do you spend much time in the woods out in
yeah.
BC? Because that is like the Pacific Northwest.
Oh,
British
yeah.
Columbia, that's big Bigfoot country.
Yeah, well, I'm a big hiker, so I tend to get lost in the mountains. But there, it's a little more intimidating because of the cougars.
Oh.
Yeah.
And we're not talking
No, we are not
about
talking about those
the
kind
kind
of
that you can
cougars.
find in Granville Island on a Saturday night.
Nope. Yeah, no. At the Sutton.
Yeah, or the Sutton Inn.
Yeah, no. You. That's my own. In fact, when I was coming down, I did a 13-mile hike in Inverness, which is like Point Reyes, Northern California.
Whoa.
And like halfway in, I was alone. I had my phone, no service, of course, but there was a massive cougar paw print on the trail I was on. So I kind of took it up a clip and
Were you
started
all
running.
by yourself?
Yeah.
13 miles?
Yeah.
That's not nothing.
No, and I did it because of the cougar paw print in like 2 hours and 35 minutes.
It's a nice, enjoyable
Heads into a
hike.
Yeah.
sprint.
It was just like,
That's
all
a
right.
big hike.
Yeah.
That's great. Did you tell somebody where you were going?
I actually did call my dad
Good.
beforehand because he
Smart.
gets very upset with me if I don't. But it wouldn't have mattered because I had no service. So,
Right.
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And then I got to my car, and once I got service, I looked up mountain lion in Inverness, and like 2 weeks prior, they spotted a 250-pound mountain lion,
my
maybe 2 trails away from where I was.
Whoa.
And I could feel him eyeing me.
Yeah.
You can always feel them eyeing you.
Bad kitty.
Yeah. No, they don't want anything. So I turned the music up. Tom Petty was roaring. It's like, give it a shot, buddy.
What do they say you're supposed to do in a cougar
I don't,
confront? You're supposed to
honestly,
make yourself as
Fight
big as
like hell.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Kick it in the balls.
Balls every
I
time.
be loud, but
Yeah.
I mean that's why I turn the music up. But they don't care; they'll still eat you.
Yeah, well, stop running, right? So it's
Yeah.
a cat. You
You're
don't
not
want to
supposed to
you
run.
don't want to give it something to chase.
I did absolutely everything you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
You curled up,
sprinting.
curled up in a tiny ball and sped across the trail like
yeah,
Sonic
with
the
my
Hedgehog.
cheese and crackers in my backpack. Like that's gonna help.
Are you a big camper?
I am. Yeah, I grew up in Topanga. You have to be a camper.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, aren't there houses in Topanga?
There are houses in Topanga. I actually did one of the trips up because I've done this Vancouver LA trip probably, 10 times in my life. And one time I took my dog and we did a 10-day camping trip and camped the whole way up the coast.
Whoa.
And I also slept with a knife under my pillow in Oregon because the guy across from me was very intimidating.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What?
Campsite weirdo.
It was, I mean, I was like, and it was empty. It was like a Monday. So when I got in, it was like everyone was bailing. And I'm like, oh, this is nice and quiet. And I found this beautiful campsite on the ocean. It was right on the coast. And as soon as I set up camp, and then I heard this massive like van pull in. I'm like,
It's like, Monday's your day too, huh? Yeah, Monday camper. I'll see you tonight.
Some thick puma out here.
oh man, it was pretty. And of course, and this is such a setup, but I hadn't seen sun in a bit, and the sun had come out, and I was like, oh, I'll just put on my bikini and lay out on the picnic table.
Perfect.
And when I heard the car pull up, I'm like, oh, maybe I should keep an eye out for this guy. And he pulled past me and then reversed. And went right into the campsite across from me. But my dog at the time was young and super protective, and so he tried to come over a few times, and she just like wouldn't have it.
Good.
But I did sleep with a knife under my pillow after seeing him take his axe out and cut his own wood.
He's a pro.
Oh, he was a pro.
Serious camp-
And all the
campsite
wood
guy.
was wet. So like I'm bad at lighting fires anyways. But I was trying to light wet wood, and I was just like black smoke going out towards him like a beacon. Help
I don't
this
know.
girl.
I mean-
She has no idea what she's doing.
This guy's kind of turning me on. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it definitely wasn't that kind of like cutting wood that you're like, oh yeah, there he is. It was like disturbing.
He just never breaks eye contact with you.
It's just
Hey, if you
shirt
need a
off.
cord, let me know. I'll be doing this all day.
I just love that, like, we've been living in a reality where we're like, the woods are full of magical creatures. And, like, you're living,
She's really out there,
like,
yeah.
a true crime podcast lifestyle where
But
you're
then,
just
you know, it's so
narrowly
sad.
escaping murder at every turn.
In the morning, I was ready. I wanted to get out, and I was packing up my car, and Kona, my dog, was in the car, and I had a Prius at the time, and I went to go wash my face, and I threw away some stuff, and I got back to the Prius. You know, if you have your key, it'll like unlock, and it wouldn't unlock. And I was like, where did I put the key? And I realized I threw it away.
Oh, no.
And it was one of those bear bins, the big ones.
Oh, no.
So I had to go dumpster diving for my key.
This is literally a scene out of an axe murder movie where, like, you have to get to the trash can before he chops your leg off.
And then he came over after I found my
Of course he
key
did.
sweating everywhere. And he was like, oh man, I was just wondering if I could take your campsite. Are you leaving? You've got a great one. I'm like, is that all you wanted was the campsite this whole time? I thought you were going to kill me in your sleep. And it was windy, and when I was sleeping, so I had the knife under the pillow. And when it's windy and you're in a tent, it's like, you don't know if it's a human out there coming to get you or if it's just the wind. There's sounds everywhere. I really did think I was going to die, but I didn't. I made
This
it.
is why I don't camp.
Yeah. Well, usually you don't have that problem. That's kind of a rare thing.
I don't know.
Alone in the woods in Oregon.
That is scary.
That was good times.
These are like the
Character
real.
building.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, it's badass. Don't get me
Oh,
wrong,
that's
but
all right.
well, you've certainly had your share of real world experiences. It sounds like. But what, Beau Garrett, is your personal paranormal history?
Well, I have a couple.
Ooh,
One is a foggy memory because I was young.
okay.
But so I grew up in Topanga, I've mentioned, and it's a little rough around the edges. And there was a girlfriend I had, Crystal North. I hope she's listening. She was an interesting. I remember her parents were vegetarian. I was not at the time, but they inspired me to become one. Super hippy dippy family. They lived up at the top of Saddle Peak, and it was the Santa Anas, and so super windy. And we stayed. We were trying to stay up late because we were kids, and that was cool. And I think it was about midnight. We were looking out at the sky, and out of nowhere, there was this light that just literally came out of nowhere.
Really?
And shot up into further in the sky. And I saw it. I know she saw it because we looked at each other. And as soon as it disappeared, there was an earthquake.
Whoa.
What?
That's trippy.
Yeah. And to this day, I have no idea what it was. But
Well, Bryce, you wanna
Yeah,
fill
that
her
was
in on the
a UFO.
Topanga lore?
Oh yeah, well yeah, that's
Oh.
of course. There was a guy wrote a whole book on it, the Topanga Canyon Lights. There was what they call in UFO terminology a flap. There was a UFO flap in Topanga Canyon, so much so that there was multiple sightings that lasted almost a few weeks. Multiple
was this
witnesses.
in the 90s
and-
by chance?
The guy wrote the book in the 90s. I think the actual flap took place in the 70s. But it is a UFO hotspot on the Pacific coast. That's crazy.
There was a woman or a guy who this saucer went over their car, and she said that like a beam of light like lifted her car.
Yeah,
off
literally
the ground.
lifted it up.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we did an episode on this early on, and I wish I could remember what year it was. I'm trying to look at it.
I think it was the 70s. Just look up Topanga Canyon UFO flap.
I got to tell you, there's a lot of hippies reporting UFOs in Topanga Canyon.
Yeah.
I mean, literally,
I think they're also maybe on acid.
Right.
that's possible.
Yeah.
Is acid still the thing to do in Topanga
I
Canyon?
honestly just don't know. Now it's ayahuasca. That's
It was-
all the hipsters are doing it.
It was 1992, dude. It was the 90s.
Okay. All right. there
That
you
was
go.
when it was.
It was 92,
'Cause
June of
Not to
92.
age myself, but I was 10.
Holy shit.
And that's about the time that I remember my parents kind of first started letting me go sleep over at like friends' homes around that time. And I was that age.
That's wild.
So it could be that whole experience.
yeah. And well, and obviously, so if it shoots back up into the sky, so it's not a falling star or a
Definitely
meteor, it's
wasn't
not a
falling.
satellite.
It was like light, this, shoot up, gone.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was a trip. And then the earthquake after it was not a huge one, but it was enough that her parents came running in, and yeah. It
I
was
wonder if they were related. Well, obviously.
Yes,
Of course
the-
they were, Bryce.
Yeah.
Come on.
The book by
Of course they were.
the book
Don't
by
even
right to
question
that.
yourself.
The book by Preston Dennett was published in
Preston Dennett,
99, but
that's
the
it.
big flap started in 92, so that would have been around that time. I'm just saying, you might have been
Solid,
witness to one
yeah.
of the fabled Topanga. I mean, you were.
yeah.
And I was
Case
definitely not
closed.
drunk or high.
That's
No.
I
wild.
was a little young for that.
That is.
We don't get a lot of UFO witnesses on here.
There you go.
Believe it or not.
Were you growing up like at that age? Was any of this stuff on your radar? Ghosts,
No.
Bigfoot, aliens,
No,
anything
my
like
dad
that?
always, because we were camping at a young age. My dad always had this little, folklore tale about blue gums.
Please do.
What's a
what's
go
that?
gum?
on?
He'd love to do this to us when we were camping. He would tell us before we go to bed, keep your covers really close to you because blue gums lives in the mountains, and he doesn't have any teeth because they rotted, but his gums are blue because of all the blueberries he eats, and he gets very cold. In the middle of the night, if you feel someone coming to take your covers, just give it to him.
Oh my
And
God.
then in the middle of the night, he'd come into our tent.
Me, old blue
And he'd
girl.
slowly take the covers, and we'd scream.
It sounds like a Smurf on meth.
Now you wonder why I go camp in Oregon countryside. It's my father.
You're like, listen, man, I can face some weird dude in a van. I kicked Blue Gum's ass
Yeah,
back in
totally.
'89.
Yeah.
I
So
just-
that was it. Blue gums was the only one I knew
Blue
about.
gums.
How did he lose his teeth?
He rotted because he was just in the woods.
Fucking high on
Yeah.
mescaline, eating
Yeah,
blueberries.
exactly.
Shit.
Blue Gums.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wouldn't that be great if the guy that wanted your campsite, when you first hear him speak, he's got no teeth and his gums are blue?
Yeah.
That's him.
I
What if
just want that campsite.
What if he's been following you?
He's been following me my whole life.
Your whole life.
He's outside
Yeah,
right now.
I swear to God, if I open the store, there's a toothless man with a basket full of Driscoll blueberries.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be pissed.
And
He's
a mountain
really
lion.
gentle.
He just wants your
Yeah.
covers.
He just wants covers.
When he bites you, it doesn't hurt. It's just gumming you.
Oh, that's just
You
that's
just sleep
worse.
sustained.
Arguably worse.
Oh.
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
So what was the second?
The second was when I was probably my early 20s. I was dating somebody who did not believe in ghosts. Just no way. They don't exist. And
Honestly, that might be a deal breaker for me these days.
good to know.
Right.
No, he was opposed to them, didn't think they were real, and he was shooting one of the few times I've ever dated an actor. He was shooting in Atlanta. So I went to visit him, and we decided to go to Savannah. And we stayed at this little bed and breakfast, which, is always full of doilies and weird things. And in the middle of the night, I was fast asleep. I didn't feel anything. And he was like, there's no ghosts. They don't exist. And I woke up to him white. And he was like, we got to get out of here. She's here. She's hovering. She's here. And she won't leave me alone. And I was like, what are you talking about? I did. When I woke up, I definitely felt an energy there that was not him or I.
It's called Panicked Leonardo DiCaprio.
And he claimed that she was incredibly jealous and was haunting him all night.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh.
Did this bed and breakfast have any? Like, when did you check in? When you checked in, did they have any
No, but
local
all of Savannah
lore?
is
Sure.
just
Good point. Good
riddled
point.
with
Good point.
that. And it was definitely one of those places where you walk in and you're like, okay.
Because I was wondering, like, why the subject of ghosts had come up with this person in the past. Was he or is he just walking around letting everyone know?
No,
I do not believe in ghosts.
He kind of was. That's his way.
He was asking for it.
He was asking for it, and I had told him when we were going to Savannah, I was like, this is Ghost Town, and and so we actually left the. He was so scared, little baby. We had to leave.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Did you? So you do then believe in ghosts, perhaps?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to anything or anybody, so I don't know. I'm not. It's not something that I think about a lot, but I do. I believe in energy, and so I don't think it just goes away when you die. You know, so I do think that there's stuff that lurks.
The energy thing, we hear this a lot. We talk about this. I don't know. What does that mean to you?
I guess
I think it can mean a lot to different people, and I think oftentimes I'll skirt past that a little bit and be like, oh yeah, sure, energy, but like what do like
Meaning,
what does that mean to you?
Here's an example. So I lost my dog 3 months ago, and I had her for 17 years. It was her and I against the world, very connected. She's tattooed on like 3 places of me, and when she died, I sat with her until she was gone. And I remember the feeling, and it's not my first dog she's my first dog, her and I, but I've put down quite a few dogs in my life, my parents' dogs. So I've felt them go. This was very intense. And when I felt her go, it was immediate. Even before I knew that the vet had euthanized her, I felt her gone.
Whoa.
But I remember sitting with her body and being like, I don't want to leave yet because I've never left her body and known I was never going to see her in that form again. And I didn't know what to do. And I remember sitting there for a while thinking, okay, now I'm crazy. Like, I have to leave. This is insane. She's gone.
I think that's 100% understandable. Fully understandable.
This is insane. I went outside and I was, devastated and like on the ground crying, holding a collar. And this woman was standing across the parking lot. She had a dog with her who was a little bit like Kona, very similar in coloring. And her dog kept trying to come over to me. And the woman had him on a leash, and I was huddled on the floor crying. And finally, she just dropped the leash, and the dog walked over to me and sat right in front of me. And he turned his head to look at me, and his name was Beau.
Whoa.
So that's the shit I'm talking about. That's like the energy stuff. Like, I never really believed in things coming to visit you. I was always like, okay, I think it's your psyche play some stuff on you when you lose something, and then. But that was like and it was spelled wrong, which I kind of loved because, like, how the hell would Conan know how to spell my name? Right. It's a unique name.
B-O-N-E. Bone. More bones, please.
So, like, that's the stuff when I'm talking about energy. I think it's just, when this, I believe in reincarnation. I believe that your soul doesn't just go away. I think that it transfers to other things. I think it evolves. I think it changes. That's why sometimes when you meet a 48-year-old man who acts like a 12-year-old, you're like, okay, it's not just narcissism. You're actually just 12.
Oh, really? So
like, I believe there's souls that evolve. I believe that there's, very young people in old bodies, and there's very old people in, young bodies.
Old souls.
Yeah.
So when did you become open to this idea
I've always
of
been
reincarnation?
Open to that. Always.
Where does it come from?
Topanga.
All roads go back to Topanga.
I mean, I've got very open parents, and we're not religious, but we've always been quite spiritual. And I just think that's just something that makes sense to me. It makes sense that, you do evolve and your soul evolves, and we don't just disappear. I think energy is a big part of who we are.
It's not a new idea.
No, it's not a new idea. I don't believe in Reiki, though.
I don't know too much about Reiki,
It's
to
just
be
like,
honest.
if you're going to do something, touch me. Don't just hover over me. It's not going to work. like
What-
this. Ah, la, la. It doesn't work.
Controlling
And-
an energy field or something, right?
Yeah.
Something
I've
weird.
heard people like,
Oh,
have you ever
people
done
love
it?
I remember when I was shooting Tron, I was in so much pain. And from the costume.
Because they were shoving you into that arcade machine all the time. It
It
was very hard
was.
to put people in there.
Yeah, it is. It's not a comfortable place to be. And I remember at one point I was getting like shooting pains at my legs and I couldn't take the shoes off because it was all attached. And so they had to like saw the shoe off to free my foot.
Good Lord.
And but they brought in a Reiki healer for the in-between zone, and I was on a hospital bed because that's the only place there's no chair, you can't sit, you're in this suit and you're stiff. And I was like, she's hovering over me trying to like push energy around, and I'm just like, this is not working.
I just love the idea of like production bringing in
Yeah.
a Reiki healer. Yeah, so we know the costume is a little tight and uncomfortable. We're going to go ahead and bring in
Here's
a
a
Reiki
healer.
healer. That should cover everything.
Let me tell you, I can't remember that cast, but completely. But whoever was number one on the call sheet, whichever actor that was their idea.
Well, it was Jeff Bridges, so that makes
shit!
sense.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was number one, but he should have been.
She's up there. That's
Yeah.
somebody's idea. That is an
Yeah.
actor's idea.
Yeah,
And
it
she
didn't
has a
work.
crepe truck too that
Yeah.
she's going to be bringing as well for lunch. You're gonna
Energy
love it.
crepes.
Yeah.
You can't see them or taste them. But I know it's like, just give me a goddamn massage,
I was like, cut the
please.
shoe off. Why don't you do that first? Let my bunions free, and then let's figure this out.
I'll never watch Tron the same.
Oh man, so much happened. I peed myself. I got electrocuted.
By peeing yourself?
Yes, at the same time.
No, it was because there was an electrical layer of the suit because you light up. But
That's what
it
I mean. You got
wasn't-
those Dayglow suits
Yeah,
on.
it just wasn't totally fleshed out, and so sometimes they'd light it and it would short.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Makes
it's
it
just
exciting.
So glamorous. Yeah.
It's the magic of acting.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
When did you pee yourself? That's the story I
Oh,
wanted.
well, I peed myself a few times because they didn't factor in, there was 4 layers and they didn't factor in that the top layer, which was super strong, it's really hard to find your hole as a woman. Like, it's like not exactly like,
Trust me, I know this from my experience with women.
yeah, there you go.
Sometimes they need a little help.
And if you don't even know where your own hole is, like, and so you're going with a funnel to get into there and you have to pee in the funnel, but the funnel kept collapsing.
gotta pee in a
Oh my
funnel?
god. That's
Yeah.
gnarly.
Oh, it was just the worst.
I just love that people are like,
That's wild.
how they have these glamorous ideas of Hollywood, and it's just people pissing and
Being
electrocuting
yeah.
electrocuted and
themselves.
peeing in a funnel, right?
Oh, yeah,
With a Reiki
man.
healer over them.
yeah.
Waving their hands.
Like,
over
at
you.
what- like, at what
You're
point-
fine. You're fine. You're fine.
At one point, we were just like, you know what? These Tron suits it's just like the ocean. Just go. Just
yeah.
go in them. Just go in them.
It's warm for
How
a while.
about making a fucking zipper?
Yeah. Oh, there were so many ideas. And then when you finally take the suit off, it took 6 hours to get the suit, hair, makeup, all of that on.
Oh.
And then a good hour to take it off. But when you do finally take it off, the smells that permeate
Sure.
from your body after being stuck, your skin can't breathe.
Yeah.
So, the energy doesn't get out.
Beau Garrett, you disgust me. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna play a certain game with our very special guest.
Uh-oh. It's such a fancy little studio. I love it.
Do you play? Do you play anything?
I do play a little guitar.
I was gonna say you got to play some guitar if you're from.
No, that was a late in life. I just started playing a couple years ago because I was bored up in Vancouver and I bought a guitar and tried to teach myself, but it's not easy.
No.
Especially when you have no musical background at all.
Yeah.
But
Riley plays everything. He makes it look so easy. Just like, I'll use one of these and
That
just start
amazes
creating
me.
some music.
It's just like I started doing when I was a kid, so it's just like.
oh, that's
it's
so
very-
great.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for it in my
Yeah.
life. It's a nice thing to be able to do.
So these are all your guitars, I imagine.
Yeah.
He stole them from other people.
Yeah.
They're all dead now.
We don't talk about it.
Every
Oh, there's
guitar
so
you see,
many.
that's one
That's
person.
a
dead person.
I have a bit of a
That's a
problem.
one murder
You
that
too.
Riley's
I
committed.
haven't looked right yet. Oh my
I know.
god.
I know.
They're
It's a little out
beautiful.
of control.
Listen,
Oh.
nothing compared to my Star Wars action figure collection.
That's true.
Far more embarrassing. All right. Beau.
Yes.
This is a rapid fire game.
Oh God,
I'm going to go down a list of phenomena.
my brain.
No, it's fine. It's just, it's like word association.
Can I close my eyes?
Yes, if that helps, absolutely.
Okay.
Now, you can only say one of two things. Bullshit, if you don't believe in it.
Okay.
Or, if you do, believe it.
Okay.
There's no in between.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
And if
go
there's
wrong.
anything you want to circle back to after we're done with the list, we'll circle back and talk about it.
Okay.
This is a game we like to call Bullshit.
Or believe it.
Oh, we nailed it that
Awesome.
time.
Nailed it.
Only took 100 episodes.
All right, Beau. On your mark.
Oh God.
Get set.
Okay.
Ghosts.
Bullshit.
UFOs.
Believe it.
Bigfoot.
Bullshit.
Little gray aliens.
Bullshit.
Out-of-body experiences.
Believe it.
Demonic possession.
Bullshit.
The Bermuda Triangle.
Bullshit.
Alien abductions.
Bullshit.
Loch Ness Monster.
Believe it.
Time travel.
Bullshit.
Mothman.
What? Bullshit.
Reincarnation.
Believe it.
ESP.
Believe it.
Haunted houses.
Believe it.
The Illuminati.
Believe it.
There's a face on Mars.
Bullshit.
Skunk ape.
Huh?
Skunk ape.
Bullshit.
Put a pin in it. We got another
Put a
game to
pin in
play
it.
after this. Heaven.
Ugh. Bullshit.
Hell.
Bullshit.
Sea serpents.
Believe it.
Poltergeist.
Bullshit.
Chupacabra.
Bullshit.
Atlantis.
Bullshit.
Life on other planets.
Believe it.
The apocalypse.
Believe it.
Parallel dimensions.
Believe it.
Life after death.
Believe it.
Nice.
Wow, so much to unpack
There's
here.
a lot.
Well, there was a lot
Wow.
that my brain
Well,
wasn't.
first of all,
I meant to say believe it on the first one.
okay, I was
Okay.
gonna
Yeah.
say,
Okay.
that
No, I just got
clarifies a few
scared,
things.
but we're good now. I'm
You
back.
thought about ghosts.
Yeah.
They scared you. You didn't know where you were.
Yeah. No, I got out of body experience there.
Okay, so yes to UFOs, but not to like the standard alien gray creature that we see a lot in pop culture with like the slanted black eyes and the triangular head. So what's in these UFOs? What are the UFOs?
I
Bear in mind, there's no wrong answer.
No.
Well,
Even the experts don't know.
seeing that I think I saw a UFO, I believe it, but I don't know that the alien creatures are going to be these gray, thin-eyed things.
Do you believe that they're piloted craft?
They have to be.
Do
But is
they?
it energy or is it an
Maybe.
alien?
I don't know. Maybe the alien is the craft.
That's true. The pop culture idea of it being this one thing doesn't really resonate for me. I think we've just created that story.
Great.
Copy that. Let's look down. You said sea serpents and the Loch Ness
And Loch
Monster.
Ness,
You
yeah.
believe in it?
Yeah, why not? They're fun.
Great. Love the attitude. We're time travel? No.
Nah.
How come? How would you know?
I just don't believe it.
Maybe people are from the future here right now.
No, I just think it's dumb.
Okay. Guess you're not.
I love
really-
the barometer. If it's fun, yeah. If it's dumb, no.
You don't think Back to the Future's fun?
That is.
Oh, she's
No, it's fine. I don't know.
Got it.
More of a Chevy Chase girl.
Okay. Well, okay. Fair enough.
Love
Three
that.
Amigos. We love Three Amigos. So I want to ask you this: reincarnation, we believe it. Don't believe in heaven. Where do we go? You believe in life after death. So where do we go after we die?
Again, it's really the idea of heaven or hell that I find super annoying.
Cool. Unpack that.
It becomes religious for me and very much about being good or bad and what separates us. And I just think it's dumb.
Where do you think we go after
I think we
die?
transfer to other, beings.
Okay.
Whether I think our souls just move to another shell.
Okay, cool. I dig that.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, great.
Okay, well, you triggered the secret game within the game.
Oh, man.
How did I trigger as a secret game?
Because when I said skunk ape, you said, what is that? So we have another game that we like to play called 60 Seconds to Sell Skunk Ape. And
Well, do I gotta
we're going
get
to
my
have to get
pictures
out.
ready?
All right, get your pictures ready.
I gotta make sure my Wi-Fi's on.
Well, you know
Jeez.
what? Your 60 seconds starts right Now,
Okay, so in Florida, there's this little old lady who wrote a letter to her sheriff's department, assigned it anonymous. Apparently, some creature had been taking apples from her backyard. She goes out in her backyard with her camera, and it was at nighttime, and she said she took 2 photographs. She only saw the thing when the flash went off. The first photograph, she saw this large, hairy creature, right? She managed to get 2 photographs, and they're actually different. She said on the second one, it sort of stood up. So here's the first picture. You can see this creature. And in Florida, they have this legend of this thing called the skunk
30
ape.
seconds.
Now, in the second picture, where's the second picture? You can see that it actually kind of lifts up, and you can see the teeth on this thing. It has eye shine. Man, I wish I would have got my pictures ready. You can't see
There's only 2 photos.
I know, but that's what she said, right?
you got 15 seconds,
Wow,
brother. You better
I gotta
sell
go. Oh, okay.
this
So this is
skunk
the
ape.
second picture where it actually starts to stand up. Isn't that crazy? But it's definitely something.
4,
I mean, look at those
3,
teeth. Look at those
2,
canines, Bo.
1. You're done.
That was a bad performance.
You're
on
done.
that.
You are done, sir.
Time.
Beau Garrett.
Pencils down.
Skunk ape.
Skunk ape. Bullshit or believe it.
Bullshit.
Damn.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you something.
What?
I just posted those pictures on our Instagram yesterday.
Oh, number 1
They're
and 2?
right there.
They're right there.
That's half the battle is doing the slide. 1, 2.
Yeah,
1,
I know. Well,
2.
you know what?
'Cause that shows movement.
We got more. You're going to have more meetings in
Okay.
the future.
Okay.
You got to
Yeah, this
shape it up.
time. Yeah.
He sold it last time.
Yeah.
The pitch is in
It's
development.
on like 50-50.
At Rachel Bloom's production company. So it's all good. All right, everybody. We'll take another break. When we come back, it's time for this week's story of high strangeness.
Cool.
And we're back, and it's time for this week's story of high strangeness. And it's been a second since we've done one
Curious.
just on our own. And this week, it's my turn. So, Bo, I'm going to be interested to see where you fall on this one. I think I have an idea.
You have me pegged already. Huh?
You're going to find
Is
out.
your story fun or dumb?
Yeah.
It's a little fun and a little dumb.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
combining the 2.
Here we go. Hit it, Riley. The wilds of Appalachia, and West Virginia in particular, have been host to many monster tales. From legends of downed spacecraft pilots like the Flatwoods Monster, or so sorry. Or interdimensional harbingers of doom, like the Mothman, to lesser-known roadside white monsters, or white things, as author Kurt McCoy. God damn it, what is wrong with my mouth?
Blue gums
We're
coming
so
for
hard
you.
to give you this tension. You know?
It's the curse of
Oh,
blue
Keep
little
gums.
way.
thinking about ghosts, and it scares me.
I just want to cuddle.
From legends of downed spacecraft pilots like the Flatwoods Monster, or interdimensional harbingers of doom like the Mothman, to lesser-known roadside white monsters or white things, as author Kurt McCoy titled his book on the subject, like the stumpy-shaped Grafton Monster. Today's creature is just another in a growing list of cryptid curiosities in Appalachia. A large, white, hairy beast known as SHEEPSQUATCH.
Oh, wow. You went there, huh?
All right, so the sources for my story today come from Mysterious Universe, Cryptid Wiki, The Singular Fortean, Cryptopia.us, and of course, ModernFarmer.com.
Okay.
So Bryce, you're aware of the SHEEPSQUATCH?
Yeah, I've heard of old SHEEPSQUATCH.
You've heard of old SHEEPSQUATCH? Mm-hmm. What about you, Bo?
No.
Ring a bell?
No, that's a first for me.
Not on the list.
If you had to guess what a SHEEPSQUATCH is, what would you say?
Ooh. I just think of a sheepdog.
Okay.
Okay.
Taller.
With a top hat and a monocle. Has anybody seen my
Rather
squatch?
friendly, actually.
Well, I do want to add a disclaimer up front, okay? Like its cousin from the Pacific Northwest, Bryce, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, bat squatch.
That's right, motherfucker. The SHEEPSQUATCH isn't actually a type of Sasquatch or Bigfoot. At least not how we lovingly refer to him. It's just a term coined by locals to describe the size and general demeanor of the monster. Because we simply don't have a name, at least not in this reality, for what this white thing might be, or where it comes from, or what it seeks. But its very nature, and the fact that there have been multiple witnesses over the course of at least 20 years, plants it firmly in the category of entities that seem to dwell in the thin plane of reality we call the realm of high strangeness. SHEEPSQUATCH is generally described to be a half-man, half-sheep monster that shifts between bipedal movement and running on all fours. Now, we've heard of behavior like this described in various dogman sightings, Bryce. Beast of Bray Road, sometimes on 2 legs, sometimes on 4. It's a famous Wisconsin cryptid. That's the most condescending mansplaining
Don't
I've
impress
ever
her
done.
with your crypto knowledge.
I've done about cryptid. That's you can find him in Wisconsin. It's kind of like a werewolf, but it's not a werewolf. It's not a man who turns into a wolf. It's just a large dog entity, probably from another dimension. It is covered in off-white, mangy fur, built like Bigfoot, but with the head of a sheep, complete with horns. It's known for having fangs and a row of razor-sharp teeth, and a long, hairless tail, much like a possum. 1994.
Strange.
Attractive.
Yeah, it's weird. It's super hot.
Yeah.
1994, West Virginia. On a dark and stormy winter's night, 4 women were driving along a perilous icy road when a large being stepped off the shoulder of the highway and into their path. The women, who were already driving at a cautious speed, watched as the creature crossed the road, its white, shaggy fur illuminating in the headlights. They described it as being 7 to 9 feet tall, with a long snout and 2 ram-like horns protruding from the sides of its oblong head. Later that year, in Mason County, West Virginia, the county seat of which is Point Pleasant, a former Navy seaman turned amateur paranormal investigator named Edward Rollins was out investigating UFO reports in a notorious area linked to the legend of the Mothmen. So it's dark out, and he is walking along this area known as Bethel Church Road, and he says, "My new hobby took me into the woods and the hollers around the TNT area, and to the homes of what witnesses who were alive and willing to talk about what they'd seen." Now, this area, Point Pleasant, West Virginia, this has had a lot of paranormal activity, and back in the 60s, it was home to a series of sightings. People saw a black entity with red eyes and wings that they called the Mothman. And it was in and around all these old TNT bunkers where this creature seemed to emanate from. So he's down in around that area doing research and trying to just study the area and study the UFO reports.
In the darkness?
In the dark. He's out there at night because, you know, he's cool. You don't... you can't go paranormal investigating in broad
Very
daylight, but it's
true.
way cooler if it's out and you got a flashlight.
True.
So, I think it's a dark. I pictured it at nighttime. I actually don't know if I have that correct. But anyway, I found a great many points of interest in my investigation. I was not prepared for what I encountered along a creek bank north of Bethel Church Road. I was walking along the creek bank trying to run down some tips provided to me by an acquaintance. And as I walked by the creek, I heard something large break through the brush ahead of me. I froze. Logic told me that it was, at worst, a large dog, maybe a sheepdog, or a stray cow, as there is very little in the way of predators in Mason County. Still, I've been a hunter since my teenage years, and I knew well that the WVDNR, the West Virginia Division of Natural Resources, had been actively repopulating absent native species. It was wholly possible that I was about to become face to face with something which might consider me lunch. His quest for a close encounter delivered more than he bargained for. What I saw emerge from the brush was a large brownish-white creature. Its fur looked dirty and matted, as if the animal did very little in the line of self-grooming. I can't be sure if I was looking at a dirty white animal or a brownish animal with a white undercoat. It was late in the fall, so it makes sense that it might have been putting on a winter coat. Literally, he might have been putting on a winter coat. We never thought about that. He doesn't say that. The creature moved on all fours as it breached the brush line and knelt to drink from the creek. Its front limbs, the only limbs I saw clearly, ended in what were markedly paw-like hands. Its head was long and pointed like a canine's, and it had largish horns, not antlers, but single-point horns. I shrunk back into the brush and watched, afraid to stay and afraid to run. It drank for a few minutes, then crossed the creek and continued on across towards Sand Hill Road. When I was sure it was gone, I turned and ran as fast as I could back toward the pond where I'd parked. So I think this thing was like using its hands to lap up the water like a person would. Yeah, like... They say his hands are kind of like a raccoon's hands, which I think is the scariest part about this entire
Possum
animal.
tail, raccoon hands,
In the face of my ex-wife.
and a fur coat.
Over the course of 1994, more and more sightings of the strange new creature were reported. A motorist claimed to have seen a large white furry monster on the hillside of a road. 2 young kids in Boone County claimed to have encountered a large, white, bear-like creature walking on its hind legs across the edge of their yard while they were outside playing. They screamed, the monster was startled, and subsequently ran away.
He's just a sweet little monster.
I know, right? The only physical evidence it left behind was a string of broken branches in its wake. Another description of a white, bear-like creature came from a couple in 1995 who saw it rear out of a ditch on the side of the road as they drove past. The man and woman claimed that the monster had horns and, curiously, 4 eyes. As they slowed their roll to capture all of these wonderful details, the creature stood on its hind legs, lurched and rammed the car and raked it with its hands. The couple sped away, and when they got home, they discovered long claw marks dragged across their car.
Oh, really?
The great white beast returned in 1999, charging a group of frightened campers who at first thought they'd stumbled across the path of a bear after hearing weird grunting and snorting sounds. The creature chased them from their campsite, letting out a horrible scream. They all described the beast looking like the fabled SHEEPSQUATCH. This is one of the sidebar here and say I did manage to check out Mysteries and Monsters in America episode 1, which is about SHEEPSQUATCH.
Great.
And there's a really wonderful vignette about 2 boys, young men named Ricky Joyce and Dakota Cheeks. And
Wow.
there's
Sweet names.
perhaps
Great name.
the best montage about best buddies and machetes that I've ever seen in
Really?
any docudrama.
Might have to check
Just
that
2
out.
dudes walking around with machetes in the woods, and they claimed in this episode that they had been out hunting. They're from they're in Kentucky. They're on the Kentucky side, and they were camping first night. And sorry for this recurring theme tonight, but one of their dogs went missing, and they found it in a ditch with its head twisted around, as if something had grabbed it and snapped its neck. And they were like, there's nothing out here that could do that, you know? So then they went back into the woods because they'd been hearing all these strange sounds, and they were staying in this trailer. And this thing came up to the trailer in the dead of night while they were sleeping there and shook and tipped the trailer on its side.
Yeah.
They went home, and the next night they came back out there armed, and then they claimed that they saw the full creature on its hind legs coming at them, and they shot at it with shotguns and ran away.
It ran away.
They ran away because they were super scared of the SHEEPSQUATCH.
Wow.
I would just recommend everybody watch it for the machete montage.
Okay.
Then in 2015, Folks Run. That was in 2013.
This guy was aged.
I know. Aging pretty well, too. In 2015, Folks Run, West Virginia, SHEEPSQUATCH returned to terrify more campers. This time, the bastard appeared on a hillside at midnight and charged a group camping alongside a riverbank. Described as 7 to 9 feet tall, with a shoulder width of 5 feet, yellowish-white fur, the monster hesitated along the riverbank before deciding to wade across the river towards his victims. As it got closer, the campers could see it had a long, dog-like head, but instead of horns, they said they saw protruding ears, like those of a German shepherd. As it neared their location, a loud shriek erupted from the trees and scared the monster away. Wild stuff. Was there a
So in
second monster?
2015, that's when you have a phone and a camera and you take a picture and you prove it.
It was nighttime.
Doesn't matter.
Midnight.
Flash.
Have you ever tried taking a video in the woods at night? Oh, I'm sorry. I
Flash.
thought you were an
And
experienced
if you're
camper.
a camper, you have a headlamp and you just light that
If you're
shit.
being charged at by a giant
I turn
dog-like
on my
creature,
headlamp.
listen.
I think it's blue
if-
gums in costume.
If you saw this thing chop wet wood, you would understand why you needed to get out of there. Well, all right,
Do I get
bro.
to see a picture of him?
Fair enough. There's no photos.
Exactly.
There are many drawings.
I don't drawings
All
don't
right.
do it.
So whether the legends of SHEEPSQUATCH or the white thing are true or not, or if it is a singular creature at all, it is hard to completely dismiss the notion, and our listeners know this, that a strange, elusive, and powerful force seems to be at play in the areas around West Virginia.
Most definitely.
Whether there's something emerging from the mountain forests, or its many caves and mine systems, or from another dimension altogether, I, for one, offer this to SHEEPSQUATCH. Bigfoot Collectors Club is here, and we are listening. Come out and let us know what you want.
Reach out to us, SHEEPSQUATCH.
Sheepies.
We want to know.
Tell us. And that is the legend of SHEEPSQUATCH.
Wow.
I recommend
Well done,
further
sir.
listening about West Virginia in this area. We have other episodes of Grafton Monster, which is episode 60 with Jack Plotnick. The Lake Worth Monster, episode 28 with Andrea Bordeaux. And, of course, the Mothman episode, which is episode 26 with Mark McConneville. This is all these stories. They're all kind of like little drops in a bucket.
Yeah.
In this area particularly, that makes you think there's something going on in Appalachia. I mean, there's something about it. And there's stories of like weird woodland monsters tracing back, way beyond before the pioneer days. It's just a weird place. And also, it's fun to think about SHEEPSQUATCH.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what
That's
the hell is
crazy.
that? What do you think?
I mean, is this the bullshit or I believe it?
Yeah,
No.
it's just what, yeah, what's your...
I'm not a cynic, but I'm also kind of like,
You can be skeptic.
Yeah.
I mean, I've getting back to camping because I think all crazy things happen camping, but this is not in the Appalachians. I was in Sierras and I was with my sister who's also a camper, and we did a 60-mile like loop. And so we were camping out every night and there was no one around. And in the middle of the night, I woke up, I thought I heard something, and I woke up and it was silent. And then I heard a scream.
Oh, that's trippy.
I forgot about the story.
That's
like
insane.
blood-curdling scream. And I remember we're 40 miles in the middle of nowhere. And I remember waking up. My sister's older than me, and she's much more camp savvy than I am. And it was my first out and back backpacking trip. And I remember thinking, I'm going to look at Autumn, and if she's awake and scared, then I'm going to be really scared.
Yeah.
And I looked at her, and her eyes were wide.
It's like the flight attendant test.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally.
Right.
And her eyes were wide, and she said, shh. And we were both silent. And then we heard it again. And at that point, I remember it was so far away, but yet so blood curdling that like, she looked at me and she was like, well, either we pack out, we go. I'm like, we can't go. Like, what are we going to do? It's the middle of the night. Like, to go towards it? It's like, no, we're going to stay here. And like a couple minutes later, we heard something like running towards our campground.
Oh my God.
God. And then it was gone. And I remember the lake was called Lost Lake. And when we got to Lost Lake the day before, we had gotten lost, and it took a lot longer for us to get to this campground. Not a campground, but a stop. And so by the time we got there, the sun was setting.
What state is this in?
California.
Northern
like
Cal.
Eastern Sierras. And by the time we got there, we had to set up camp, right, pretty immediately. And so we're trying to build our tent and everything and get dinner together because we had barely eaten. And all of a sudden, thousands of mosquitoes came. So we had to get the bear sack up and set up the tent and go in without getting food. We were getting attacked. And so we ended up eating like protein bars in the tent that night to sleep. And then that happened. We somehow managed to sleep through the night. And then in the morning we woke up and we were like, let's get out of here.
For sure.
And so we got out of the tent, we started packing up, and the mosquitoes came back. And we had to literally run with all of our stuff in our bags. And then there was supposed to be a little creek that we were going to pass through to get to the other side. It was a raging river. And so we had to take off all of our clothes, put all of our stuff above us with the mosquitoes attacking us.
And would
So,
you know,
I just
a
wanna let
dude
you
in
know.
a van drove by that exact moment.
I was like, so that's a Bigfoot story.
Yeah, so I forgot about that until you talked about,
So you're describing a
Saskatoon
few
or
classic
whatever.
elements of people that they report. One is the woods going completely eerily silent, and then the other is that blood curdling scream. People, there's actual audio recordings of
It was
of
insane.
those types of things recorded out of places like that. You should check them out.
We
That
looked
is
up-
crazy.
So we ended up, her husband's very logical, and we got back to San Jose. I think they were living at the time, and we started looking up animals like that would do that sound in the middle of the night. And the only ones that really, I think it was a mountain lion has a call or some type of thing, like a mating thing that they make that sound, and also elk sometimes make this. But we played all of these potential
None of them matched,
sounds,
huh?
and none of them were like that. But also our memories of it, because it was so terrifying, I've noticed through the years shift. And this is again back to the stories of these things that people see. And it's like you create this whole thing of what it was. And now when my sister talk about it, I remember it differently than she does,
Yeah.
So that can happen too in these like weird situations.
Well, you got to write this stuff down when it happens so you can at least have a fresh account of it.
There was just something recently in the news, less than a few months ago. A father and his son were out in the woods, and they heard this blood-curdling scream. They have it all on their iPhone, and the son starts screaming back, and this thing's screaming back at it, and it's like a blood-curdling scream, and you could tell just the distance on thing, and then the volume from the lungs of this creature.
Yeah.
It's not like an elk or a
No.
but it's wild.
What about the sound of something charging their campsite, Bryce?
Yeah,
That was weird
wild.
because it was wild. Like it was definitely the most scared I think I've ever been in my life ever.
How close do you think it was? This
The scream was quite far,
But then the charging.
but then the charging felt like you could feel it in the tent. You could feel the vibrations.
Wow, that's a true.
And then it
Check
was
for
silent.
prints the next day?
Yeah, nothing.
No tracks.
Not a thing. Well, also, we didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah, with the
As soon as we got out,
Yeah.
the mosquitoes came. It was like they
didn't
didn't
have
want
enough
us
time
to
to
know.
take a picture with your phone.
Yeah,
huh?
no,
Did this happen before or
But
after
that's-
2015,
Couldn't
Beau?
record it with
Okay.
with your phone there,
That's
huh?
true. You're right. You're right. You got me. I
That,
will walk out
That's
of
a
here with my
great
tail between
story.
my
Sounds like a
legs.
really nice camping trip.
that
It was special. It was bonding. I just remember finishing up and we were like, let's get Mexican food. And we just got a burrito.
That
Like,
is a full-on Bigfoot story.
Dude,
Yeah.
what a
in the
pot
same-
of gold at the end of that
In the
rainbow.
same trip, a fire started and we were 4 days in and we were trying to get back to our car, which was like 10, 15 miles away. And there was a fire and we didn't know where it was coming from. And like in that situation, like you're kind of, you go back or you keep going on the trail.
Jesus.
And we ended up walking into the conservation crew, and they told us that the fire was getting maintained. But we were like, are we going into like, it's just one of those character building experiences.
You know what? I have a lot of character building experiences at Disneyland. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's wild. That blood curdling scream also in the Beast of Abear Road or the Beast of Whitehall story. They kept hearing what they said sounded like a woman screaming in the woods.
It was like a woman.
This big creature.
It was so wild.
That is such a great story.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot that one.
No, hey, you didn't.
It's weird.
Told it right when you needed
getting
to.
back to SHEEPSQUATCH, though, just like people actually, when they report this stuff and then the commonalities, I think it takes a lot to report something. You know what I mean? So you kind of got to go by the 80-20 rule. I mean, it works in ufology and I'm sure in other cryptozoology as well, but only about 20% of the people probably actually report their experiences of something they saw or heard, There could be a lot more reports coming out of there, but that's crazy, man. The whole, I don't know what that is.
It's weird. There's this subcategory of these cryptid sightings that seem to be on some type of sliding scale. The SHEEPSQUATCH stuff reminds me a lot, as I was reading about them, of the Dogman stuff that I've read and the stuff that Linda S. Godfrey has written about in her books, Monsters in America. Just seems like it doesn't seem to fit into one consistent category, but what everybody can agree on is that I know what I saw,
they're seeing
to borrow the
something.
title from one of her books. But so I don't know. I don't know what it is, and it's so funny to me that you choose to like poo-poo or laugh at Bat Squatch, which I understand. But even that was supposed to be an entity kind of, I don't think it was more like the Mothman, but it was just this giant, hairy, winged creature.
I only and I don't poo-poo them. I think if I had to if you played the game with me on Bat Squatch and I'd be like, sure, there's something happening there. There's a phenomenon that's taking place with both of those things. It's just like as a guy who's trying to move the Bigfoot needle forward, it's like it's static in the machine.
But it's not
you don't want to be the Bat Squatch guy.
Well, it's also, but it's also not a Bigfoot with wings. It's not that. It's more of a giant bat creature.
Right, but I mean, when you attach the name Squatch to sheep and bat and then pig Squatch,
but this is the
and then
thing.
we got chicken Squatch.
What is a Squatch?
Sasquatch.
But what's a Squatch? It's just
it's just one word, Sasquatch.
Yeah, it's a First Nations.
What is a Squatch? Do we have a definition of just the word Squatch?
No, I don't think. No, it's just one
where did the
word.
word
It's attached to.
Sasquatch.
It's the latter half of the word Sasquatch, which is a First Nations word for Sasquatch, which they described as the tall, hairy man or the creature, and it was reported, I think, by a newsman, as usually these things are, as Sasquatch.
But that's the thing is this is happening. A lot of these like Bat Squatch, Sheep Squatch. This is all like latter day terms. This is coming from the age where every political scandal ends in the word gate,
right?
Or like every snowstorm is a snowmageddon,
right?
You know what I mean? It's just it's a lack of creativity. It used to be
Bigfoot should be honored then.
It should really like Bat Squatch should be called the Mount St. Helens monster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, or something, or the monster of St. Helen. Like
people just got lazy.
Yeah, people just start. It's the local thing. People start coming up
People
with
love a catchy
these
name,
memes. That kind of catch on really quickly. And you're right in that sense that we need to sort of differentiate. That's why I opened it up with the disclaimer of like, we're not actually talking about a Bigfoot here.
You realize our guest has seen a UFO, had a Bigfoot experience, and a ghost experience?
Yeah.
And I didn't know if I'd had anything to talk about today.
You have the holy trifecta.
That's a threefer, yeah.
That's the first three at the top of Bullshit or Believe It.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like in the Golden Guest Club.
Let me just
now.
laminate your club card
Yeah,
here.
thank
there you
you
go.
so much.
There you
Here's
go.
your uniform.
God.
Yes, I know. And we actually got, I was going to see if I could look it up. We got a letter from a listener, Bryce.
Yeah.
About, remember when we were talking on Rachel's episode about, Rachel had asked if there was a commonality between Sasquatch or whatever the word is,
right,
and Saskatchewan. And no, the answer is no, but we had a listener write in. I don't know if I'm trying to look it up.
I'm trying to look up that.
Do they come from like Saskatoon? Like, is that how you say it?
No,
it's
different
just
thing.
It was an indigenous. It was a First Nations word
I found
for.
I found that video though for Beau, that strange unknown noise.
Ooh, play it.
Yes, scream. I thought it was a moose, but my mind changed when it screamed again and again.
Play it.
This is less than 6 months old.
Hot news tip.
Hot news tip here.
Ooh,
I wonder if I can hear. Oh, let me turn my sound up.
that would help.
Okay, sound. Get it going. Do I hear anything? What's going on here?
Maybe your mute's on?
No, it shouldn't be.
Bluetooth? Connected to some headphones somewhere?
No. Oh, there's the grandson screaming back. Ready? Come on.
That sounds like dogs barking.
Isn't that strange?
That sounds like a deep howl,
That
not
sounds like
a...
dogs. No, this was...
Anyway.
I wish I could... yeah, no, it was higher pitched. It was like
Like a woman screaming.
woman screaming at the top of her lungs.
Wow, that's that Beast of Bray Road stuff.
It was
right there.
really disturbing.
I don't know. That's strange.
Stuck with me.
Yeah.
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 Well, Beau, thank you so much for being part of the show tonight and bringing 3 awesome stories.
Yeah, what a
You're
pleasure.
so welcome.
Beau,
Thank you for having me.
Like Bigfoot, and you may be able to answer this question literally, where in the woods can you be found? Should people want to find you?
If they wanted to find me,
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell them where I was.
Is there anything, social media, anything people can follow you on?
Yeah, if they want. I mean, if they want to.
It's their choice.
I'm
We're just
not
letting them
super.
know
I do
where to find
travel
you.
a lot. So I have a Instagram account called Black Dog Travels.
Great.
And not on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, but I never go on it.
Yeah.
I really don't like social media.
That's okay.
But
We'll
yeah,
tag
Black
you
Dog
in-
Travels is fun.
Okay, great.
I
Cool.
post about my travels.
Fantastic.
Great.
I love it.
And
We'll,
we'll be looking out
tag
for
you
your
over
new
there.
show.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you for doing this. You can find us always at Bigfoot Collectors Club on Instagram and Bigfoot Pod on Twitter. Please write to us with your own paranormal stories at BigfootCollectorsClub@gmail.com. Check out our merch at the TeePublic Campfire Media Shop. Go over there, check out, get yourself a shirt. Cool shirt with the tent and Bigfoot on there. It's our logo. So, guys, anything you want to plug? Definitely come to our live show at Bigfoot Lodge here in LA, Monday, February 17th at 7 p.m. The show is free, and it's for 21 and up only. Bryce, Riley, what do you got?
That's a good enough for me,
All
man.
right, sounds
I'd say
good.
just check out the Patreon. We've been putting a lot of cool stuff on there this month, and we have
putting
a
up
lot more
Oh,
in the
yeah.
works.
Stepping up our Patreon game.
Yes,
So.
We are,
and
yeah.
thank you everyone who's joined in just the past few weeks. We really appreciate it. You guys are incredible. All right, guys. I remain Michael McMillan for Bryce Johnson and Riley Bray. Until next time.
I
Good night.
have one more thing. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
shit.
I was last minute.
Yes,
Oh,
please.
last
Also, I work with a rescue called Hit Living Foundation, and I'm taking in fosters. I have a foster coming with me tomorrow. I will post it on my Instagram if anyone wants it to.
Oh, I thought
give a
you had
good
like
home.
another monster sighting or
No,
something.
no,
Like, wait,
that's
one more
another
thing.
plug. If anyone wants to, I'll post it on my Instagram. You can direct message me. if you're
Fantastic.
interested. That's
Yes.
it. Sorry.
Good to know.
And thank you for finding homes
Yeah.
for
Yes,
dogs.
absolutely.
Especially
Truly.
the elderly ones.
Yeah, it's all elderly. So
Fantastic. All right, guys. Good night.
And go get regressed.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that because I was actually
Sorry.
meant to say something.
I'm a little late on things. I just.
Bigfoot Collectors Club is produced by Riley Bray. Our theme song is Come Alone by Suneaters, courtesy of Lotuspool Records. If you like the show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It really helps get the podcast to more listeners. To support the show, check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/Bigfoot Collectors Club and unlock multiple reward episodes every month.